Interesting little moment from the hearings yesterday in Congress with Antony Blinken.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure we highlighted all of this. Look, Antony Blinken, he was appearing before Congress yesterday to testify about Afghanistan. But Congressman Scott Perry appeared to have some inside information about some things that had been happening within the State Department vis-a-vis Hunter Biden. And so we know that Hunter Biden, and we covered this previously, obviously his dealings with Burisma, the Ukrainian energy company, his trying to leverage State Department contacts then at the time inside the Obama administration to benefit his own bottom line had been the subject of an FBI investigation. Now, we didn't actually know that much about that investigation because Attorney General Bill Barr actually barred the reporting on that investigation before the election because he didn't want to pull a Hillary Clinton the way that James Comey did. But now it seems that the investigation has progressed, that Congressman Perry hit Secretary Blinken with a number of questions. And a reminder, Secretary Blinken is under oath, and he grills him repeatedly on whether he's been interviewed by the FBI with respect to this investigation and whether he's had to return over documents. Blinken is totally flustered and essentially confirms that it's all true. It's a very, very revealing exchange. Let's take a listen to the whole thing.
Ask you this. I just have a couple more questions for you. A little off topic here, but I think it's interesting. How long was your recent interview with the FBI, and was it a deposition?
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're referring.
Are you saying that you have not had a recent interview with the FBI since becoming Secretary of State?
I'm not sure what you're referring to, and I'm happy to take that up with you offline.
Did the State Department turn over documents to the FBI related to Hunter Biden, Burisma, and or the Blue State Strategies Corporation?
You'll have to.
So you have no knowledge of this. You have had no. You don't. You are you saying you have not had an interview with the FBI since?
It would not be appropriate for me to comment in a public forum on any legal proceedings that the department.
I'm not asking you to cooperate. I'm not asking you to comment on the legal proceedings. I'm just asking if you've been interviewed by the FBI since becoming Secretary of State.
Again, I'm not going to comment one way or another on any legal proceedings or not that may or may not have happened.
Have you sought to?
Let me remind the gentleman that the topic of this hearing is Afghanistan. That's what we're.
I appreciate it, Mr. Chairman, but the Secretary generally refuses to answer questions about Afghanistan, so I just figured we'd talk about something he should be intimately familiar with. Have you sought to alter any of your testimony from last year's Senate investigation regarding this topic, Mr. Secretary?
Ooh, all right. Very interesting. And so, look, we're not sensationalizing this. Really what we're saying is there's clearly some stuff that's going on behind the scenes. And obviously, we're seeing some FBI tip-offs to the congressman there. Now, I seem to recall a time when the FBI and the intelligence community was tipping off Adam Schiff and a lot of other members of Congress. So everyone was cool with it. And I'm actually kind of okay with it because the more leaks, the better. Getting stuff out in public, I believe in transparency. Matthew Miller, though, who is a MSNBC analyst and used to work at the DOJ under the Obama administration and was probably one of the top Russia gators over at MSNBC, here's what he has to say. Put this tweet up there because it's just amazing. Don't know what was going on with Scott Perry's questioning of Blinken, but if he's getting leaks from the FBI about an ongoing investigation, that is a very, very bad look for the Bureau. Oh my God. The lack of self-awareness.
Mr. Miller has never gotten any of those leaks himself from the FBI.
Can you believe this? Come on.
I mean, the thing to remember about these leaks is always like these individual agents, they have their own political agendas.
Yeah, usually they're like pissed off.
They have their own either political ideologies or, you know, some sort of internal bureaucratic infighting where they're looking for an angle in the news always. So look, when you see these leaks, you should always take them with a grain of salt because they're usually not coming from a neutral, disinterested party. However, it's hilarious for them to put hand-wring like, oh, the FBI, how could they? How could they leak? They would never do that when, I mean, this is what this organization does.
That's what you do. Yeah.
They manipulate the news cycle. They put out stories that they want to put out to make people look bad or to make people look good or whatever. So you should always take it with a grain of salt. That being said, I mean, Secretary Blinken clearly very uncomfortable here.
Oh, yeah.
Did not want to answer the question, and as you put it, basically confirmed that there is something going on there, that he has sat for some sort of interview with the FBI. Now, does this turn out to have any real legs? Is it, the type of corruption that sadly is like completely legal? With regard to Hunter and Burisma, what we've seen so far, that is, ultimately the case. It's the type of stuff that all kinds of people engage in all the time in Washington, but we'll see where it goes.
I'm very curious to see where it all heads. But more importantly, I think it does go to show that last question, remember, Secretary Blinken and them, because they worked also in the Obama administration State Department. He was a high-ranking official there and actually had some dealings with Joe Biden and the Ukraine policy. So he actually had to give some testimony with respect to it. We'll see whether a lot of that holds up, stands what they've seen both on the laptop. And speaking of the laptop, this was very interesting. So you guys might recall that Twitter actually blocked the entire Hunter Biden story during the election. I think it was in October.
Yeah.
Well, that actual blocking was brought before the Federal Election Committee, saying, did Twitter essentially give an in-kind donation to the Biden campaign by blocking that story, the spread to billions and billions of people on the platform, or the potential spread from Twitter and more, creating its own subsequent news cycle. So the FEC rules against that contention. They say they did not give an in-kind donation, but pay attention to the New York Times' language when describing that information. Let's put this up there on the screen. This is from Shane Goldmacher. The FEC has dismissed claims that Twitter acted illegally when it blocked users from posting an unsubstantiated Hunter Biden article. Now, here's the thing. Inside the New York Times story itself, they refer to the Hunter Biden story as, quote, unsubstantiated. That is actually fake news because it's based on emails from his laptop that he has never denied are real. And you'll remember at the time they were like, oh, it's Russian propaganda. Oh, it's a plant. This is all the hallmarks of KGB disinformation.
Amazing.
Look, I mean, is it true or is it not true? And if it's not true, not a single one of those has been disputed yet by Joe Biden or Hunter Biden, which means what? The laptop is real. Didn't he say even, he's like, I don't know if I dropped off my laptop?
Well, and weren't there like 3 other laptops that he also lost it? Yeah, I mean, obviously
feel bad for
this
the
was
guy.
his laptop,
He's a crack
guys.
addict. It's like,
it was his laptop.
Yeah.
Now you could debate how, ultimately people elected his dad anyway.
Correct.
And also, I would say that Twitter's actions in censoring this article it was total Streisand effect, drew so much more attention to this piece of news and this article than it was going to get otherwise. So it's not like it really worked out for them. But the FEC decision itself is interesting because what they effectively ruled is that Twitter had a commercial reason for censoring the article. And I guess they'd been warned by the FBI or somebody that Hunter might be the target of disinformation or something like that. So they ruled that they had a commercial reason that was outside of a political reason. But I mean, social media networks could always argue they have a commercial reason because it is ultimately about, they're worried about their business model. They're worried about profit margin more than they are any particular political ideology. So it basically means that they have carte blanche to do with these things whatever they want.
I think the decision itself is troubling. The fact that the media still refers to it as unsubstantiated is troubling. But look, it does all link back maybe to a bigger investigation. And when we saw that exchange, I thought, wow, that's actually could be big. It could be something that might come up. That being said, I'm not gonna get my
could be nothing. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll continue to watch it. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut. Our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it. You get to ask us questions. All that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.